What's up, guys? I'm Naya and I'm from India. My mom raised me all by herself and she didn't have it easy. We were poor. Very poor. She worked as a maid for this super rich family, and when I was 8 years old, I begged my mom to let me work with her too so we could earn extra money. Please, Mom, I want to help. Oh, I don't know. Please. Oh, okay, honey. Thank you. Yay! I was excited, but I didn't really understand how terrible my mom's work was. When we arrived, I was so shocked by how massive the house was. It was a mansion, all white and pristine like a palace. We didn't get to enter through the front since we were considered inferior. So we got a small back entry where we got changed into our uniforms and started our tasks for the day. My mom and I were in the living room cleaning up. I was only 8 years old, so I was pretty clumsy, and I accidentally knocked over a glass of orange juice that was on the table, staining the fluffy white carpet. Naya! I'm sorry, Mama. Oh, it's okay, sweetie. I'll clean this up. While my mom scrubbed frantically, another woman walked into the room. I couldn't stop staring at her. My mom had only told me stories about this woman, but seeing her in person was a whole other experience. She was the wife of the household. She had the tightest skin I'd ever seen. It was stretched out like rice paper through years of Botox and surgery. She wore a white dress as if she was going to the Oscars instead of just relaxing at home, with a giant diamond necklace. She approached us, and when she spotted the stain, she shrieked like a crow.
Oh my God, you imbecile!
My mom quickly stood up at attention. I'm sorry, Mrs. Singh. I'll clean this up right away.
Are you kidding? The stain will never come out.
I promise it will. Just give me time to...
Don't interrupt me, you idiot!
Mrs. Singh raised her hand and backhanded my mom right across the cheek. At that point, I lost it. You leave my mama alone! I launched myself at Mrs. Singh and bit her on the leg. She screamed and raised her hands as if to hit me too, when suddenly a man walked into the room. He caught Mrs. Singh's hand mid-air and pulled her away. What is going on here? It was Mr. Singh, the husband of the household. He had on a business suit and it seemed like he was about to leave for work. Mr. Singh, please, we accidentally spilled some juice on the carpet, but I can get the stain out. Seriously, Brenda? This is what you're screaming about?
But...
Ella, Naya, I'm so sorry for my wife's behavior. Please, leave. I'll handle this. My mom and I were still shaken from Mrs. Singh's behavior, but I was glad Mr. Singh was there to handle it all. The next day, when we received our list of tasks for the day, Mom groaned. She had been assigned all the bathroom duties, the most disgusting and hardest tasks of the house. We knew Mrs. Singh was the one behind it. This was her way of punishing my mom. While my mom headed to the bathroom, I went to the garden where I was supposed to clear out the weeds. The sun was boiling, and I actually felt like my skin was melting off my bones. I pulled out weed after weed after weed, wondering how my mom was doing, when suddenly I heard a splash behind me. Some boy had just jumped into the pool. The Singhs didn't have a son, so I was curious who this strange boy was. Hey, you! The boy was talking to me. What? Come in and swim. I can't. I have to clean up this garden. Oh, come on. Don't be such a party pooper. But The boy splashed some water at me. I gasped. Hey, stop it! Come in! Suddenly, the boy leapt out of the water and pulled me in. Whoa! No! We fell into the pool. Water splashed everywhere and I was drenched. When we resurfaced, the boy introduced himself. I'm Ramesh. I couldn't help it. I should have been mad, but I started laughing. Nice to meet you, Ramesh. I'm Naya.
What is going on here?
We turned suddenly. Mrs. Singh was there, and she looked as red as the planet Mars. Aw, come on, Auntie. We're just having fun.
Ramesh, come out this second.
Ramesh smiled apologetically at me, then hopped out of the pool. As they left, Mrs. Singh sent me a look as sharp as daggers. I sighed, climbed out of the pool, and got changed. Unknown to Ramesh, his aunt later came back to tell me to do double the original tasks I had for that day. Life wasn't too bad though. Ramesh and I hung out all the time, and usually it was just Ramesh tagging along while I did work. He often came to his aunt and uncle's house on weekends or for school breaks, and that way we got to see each other a lot. Mrs. Singh hated seeing us together though, but usually we managed to keep it a secret. Life was getting better, until one day it all came crashing down. My mom and I were scrubbing the floor when suddenly I saw Mom start to close her eyes. Mom collapsed to the floor, unconscious. Mom! I screamed for help as I tried to wake my mom up. Eventually, some of the other maids and servants arrived. Then Mr. Singh appeared. My mom, you have to help. She just collapsed. Please. Don't worry, Naya. She'll be all right. Then, like some sort of prince, Mr. Singh lifted my mom into his arms and carried her away. There was something about the look on his face when he cradled my mom that made me curious, but I was too worried to think about it too much. At the hospital, the doctors told us Mom was overstressed and needed to rest for a few days. By this point, my mom was awake, and when she heard the doctors say this, she immediately protested. No, I have to work, I have to earn money. If we don't, we won't be able to eat, pay rent, Ella. Mr. Singh held my mom's hand. Everything will be okay. You can stay in our spare bedroom while you rest. But Naya? Naya can stay with us too. Don't worry, I'll still pay for the days you miss while you rest.
Sweetie, is that really a good idea?
Brenda, not now. Mrs. Singh bit her lip. I could tell she hated the idea of my mom living in the same house as her, even though they had over 10 spare bedrooms. But I'll be honest, if my husband had spoken and touched a woman the way Mr. Singh touched my mom, I would have been concerned too. After a while, the doctors wanted to run some more tests on my mom, so we all had to leave. As I walked out, Ramesh was there waiting for me. We stood there staring at each other for a while. Then, Ramesh offered a hug. We embraced each other, and I couldn't hold it in anymore. I let go, sobbing on his shoulder. Throughout Mom's recovery period, Ramesh was there for me the whole time. I never could have gotten through it without him. Years passed, and my mom was much better. Mr. Singh only allowed her to work 4 days a week instead of 7, while I picked up more hours, so now I became the main source of income for our family. One day, when I was 15, I entered my mom's room to give her some food, but her bed was empty. She's probably at the store. I forgot all about it and went to Mr. and Mrs. Singh's bedroom because I was supposed to mop the floors there. But when I entered, I got the shock of my life. Sitting on the bed, making out like some sort of Hollywood movie couple, was Mr. Singh and my mom. Oh my god! They broke apart and looked at me in alarm. Naya, I can explain.
What the heck?
My heart dropped. Mrs. Singh was behind me looking through the doorway. And when she spotted Mom and her husband, she screamed until it felt like the whole house was shaking.
Are you kidding? You're cheating on me with the maid?
Honey, look,
Yes, go on, explain yourself. That's it. You.
Mrs. Singh pointed at my mom.
You're fired, and you can bring your bratty daughter with you.
I looked at Mr. Singh, expecting him to step in and do something, but he just looked away. I scoffed. Come on, Mom, we don't need them. Mom sighed sadly, and we packed our things up and left. As it turned out, we really did need them. No one would hire us again after that. And my guess is that Mrs. Singh contacted everyone she could and banned them from hiring us, ruining our reputations. My mom and I became homeless and lived under a bridge with the other homeless people. One night, when we were getting ready for bed on our cardboard sheets, we heard a commotion down the other end of the bridge. Quickly, we rushed over to see what was happening, and I was surprised to see Ramesh there. Hey, get off! One of the homeless people was trying to steal his watch. I rushed over and stepped between them. He's with me. The man recognized me and backed away. I dragged Ramesh over to our little nook and sat him down. What are you doing here? It's not safe. I had to come see you. I have an offer for you. An offer? I want you and your mom to come work for my family. It's on the other side of town, but it's good money and we'll treat you kindly, unlike my auntie. But your parents, are you sure? Don't worry, my parents hate auntie. They would love to have you. Oh, Ramesh, thank you. I hugged him, and the next day we got started right away. Turns out Ramesh was just as rich as his aunt and uncle. His house wasn't as big as theirs, but it was still absurdly enormous with a giant swimming pool and a garden as big as a national park. While my mom got started cleaning the floors of the bedrooms, Ramesh told me he had a special task for me in his room. When we arrived, he shut the door and looked at me mischievously. Surprise! You don't have to do any work. What? I told my parents that you can be my tutor so you can work and earn money here without doing any actual work. Wow, Ramesh, that's so nice of you, but why would you do that for me? Ramesh blushed. Well, you see, actually, I really like you. Electricity shot through my heart. Oh, wow, we stood there for a bit, unsure what to do. But then I took a deep breath and just went for it. I kissed Ramesh, and pretty soon we held on to each other dearly. But then suddenly the door opened and my mom walked in, her broom in hand. Oh! My mom froze. Ignore me. She left quickly and shut the door. Ramesh and I grinned sheepishly at each other. It looked like life was good again. The next day, Ramesh's family was having dinner at his house. This time, I actually had to do some work, and me and my mom were in charge of serving the guests. The dinner bell rang, and we emerged from the kitchen with the dinner. As we handed each guest their plate, I looked up in alarm as Mr. and Mrs. Singh were there. Mr. Singh was staring at my mom while my mom tried to avoid his eye contact, and Mrs. Singh was staring at her husband. Eventually, Mom went to give Mrs. Singh her meal, when suddenly, Mrs. Singh jutted out her elbow, hitting my mom and causing the tray of meals to fall to the floor. Mr. Singh had a lobster on his shoulder. He quickly flicked it off and tried to help my mom. Please stop, I don't need your help. Mr. Singh hesitated, then got back in his seat while Mom and I cleared it all up. When we left, I could see Mrs. Singh sniggering at my mom. It was so unfair. Later, for dessert, my mom gave everyone their food. Mrs. Singh took one bite of her cake, then she started coughing uncontrollably. Are there nuts in here? There shouldn't be. Mrs. Singh collapsed to the floor and started choking. We called an ambulance, and luckily Ramesh's mom had a peanut allergy injection on hand. Thankfully, Mrs. Singh regained consciousness and the swelling died down, but as soon as she was okay, she looked at my mom.
You're going to jail for this.
What?
You tried to kill me.
While murmurs spread through the dinner table, Ramesh took me and Mom away to the kitchen. Ramesh, Mom didn't do it. She would never. I know. Look, there's something I have to tell you. Earlier on, when everyone was distracted, I saw Mr. Singh head into the kitchen. I was curious what he was going to do, so I followed him, and you'll never believe what I saw. He spiked Mrs. Singh's cake with some peanuts. Oh my God. You don't think... Did he do it on purpose? Was he really trying to kill his own wife? Maybe. He might have done it so he could get her out of the way and, I don't know, maybe get back with your mom? We have to tell Mrs. Singh so she doesn't sue my mom. No, we can't. What? But why? I don't want to get Amar into trouble. But Mom, you're being falsely accused of murder. But no, I'm dealing with this now. I burst into the dining room and stood up on the table. I explained everything to the whole audience. Ramesh stood up on the table too and confirmed my case. Everyone was so shocked, but no one was more shocked than Mrs. Singh. She took one look at her husband, then slapped him across the face.
You're lucky I love money too much to divorce you.
Mrs. Singh turned to my mom.
Ella, look, I'm so sorry. I know I've been hard on you. You're a kind woman and you've been nothing but accepting of me. Can you forgive me?
My mom hesitated, but then she smiled. Of course. I sighed with relief. Ramesh grinned and I winked at him. It looked like things would get better after all.
Hey guys, I'm Annika Sabine. I grew up in the Arctic. Please make sure you subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us out. My last memory of human life was from when I was 10 years old. I remembered my mother carrying me out into this icy landscape. The wind was blasting us with thousands of icy crystals, and I held onto my mother tight. But she let go of me and dropped me on the freezing floor. Mama! My mom turned and ignored me. She disappeared, and that was the only memory I had of her. I didn't even know what her face looked like. The trauma of being abandoned in the Arctic had wasted away what memory I had left. So now all I knew was that my name was Annika Sabine. After she abandoned me, I was devastated. But I decided I wasn't going down without a fight. I was determined to survive. I learned how to make a fire out of sticks in the woods left nearby. I learned how to make an igloo to shield myself from the snowstorms. I lived off seal meat and sometimes even polar bear meat. Life was tough and boring until one fateful day. I was about 16 years old. I had just returned from fishing when I noticed that smoke was coming out of my igloo. I felt my heart skip a beat. I hadn't lit a fire, so why was there any smoke? Was an intruder in my home? I sprinted as fast as I could and barged in, my spear in hand. Get out, you! I froze. It was a guy, and he looked about my age. He was wearing a coat made out of bear fur, and as he looked up at me, I noticed his gorgeous brown eyes. Who are you? I'm Sake, the boy coughed. I'm sorry for barging in. Get out! I didn't really know how to react, but I sure as heck knew I didn't want him staying any longer. I'd lived on my own my whole life. I didn't need someone else bothering me. I'm sorry. I needed some warmth. I don't care! You need to leave! But then I hesitated, because suddenly Sake was leaning to one side and then he collapsed. I just stood there, unsure of what to do. I had an unconscious guy in my igloo. I could leave him outside to die. The polar bears could have him. I could care less. But just as I was about to drag him out, something made me stop. No, this wasn't right. Why do I have to be so righteous? I wrapped Sake in one of my blankets and fed him some soup while he slipped in and out of consciousness. He had a fever. When he finally woke up, he looked much better and healthier. He told me everything about where he'd come from. My uncle and I used to live just over the mountains there. But 2 days ago, he slipped and fell off a ledge. He didn't make it. Oh, I'm so sorry. My uncle told me I had family in England, and we used to have a radio, but that broke down. I was stranded here, and I was never really the best at survival, so I started walking to look for help. Then, I found you. While my mind was still trying to process what an England was and who radio was, I didn't even understand these words or knew what they were. Noises sounded from outside. What is that? Shh! We stayed quiet and listened, and then my blood turned cold. Well, colder. Polar bears. Oh no! You stay here. No, I can help. I didn't wait to hear him out and left the igloo. I was right about the noises. We were surrounded by polar bears. They roared at me fiercely. I started swinging to try and fight them off, but no matter how hard I tried, they were too much for me. I soon became overwhelmed, and one of them lunged for my throat. I closed my eyes, accepting defeat. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, I heard a squeal and all the polar bears scattered. I turned to see Sake standing in front of me, protecting me from the polar bears. Sake? Sake turned and smiled down at me. I realized just how cute he was. Are you okay? Sake helped me up and we stared at each other for a while. I had the sudden urge to hug him or even kiss him. But before anything more could happen, a plane appeared suddenly, flying really low toward us. Sake and I stared in shock. I'd never seen a plane before. I was speechless. Is it a rescue team? Maybe it... But the next words were snatched by the wind of the plane's blades as they came plummeting toward us. We screamed and dove out of the way, just in time. If we dodged a second too late, we would have been minced meat. The plane seemed to lose control and suddenly it crashed into the icy ground. Oh my god! A giant cloud of smoke rose in the air as the plane sat there like broken glass. Sake and I took one look at each other, then we started sprinting towards the plane. We arrived and searched desperately for any survivors. Over here! I followed Sake's voice and found him pulling out a woman. It looked like she was in her 40s. For some reason, I felt like I recognized her. But I shook the thought away quickly and together we dragged her out of danger. We double-checked for more survivors, but it seemed she had been the only one on board. What do we do now? We have to bring her back home. Sake lifted the woman in his arms and we carried her back. For days, the woman remained unconscious, in a coma of some sort. Meanwhile, Sake and I cared for her. One day, I entered the igloo with some wood cut up in a bundle. As I stepped in, I tripped on one of our blankets and went tumbling, but Sake appeared like some kind of prince and caught me before I face-planted. I held on to him and we stared at each other for a while. Our lips were inches apart. I felt myself move closer. Where am I? Ah! We turned to find the woman sitting up in bed, wide-eyed. She looked at us. Where am I? She repeated. I pushed away from Sake and knelt by the woman. You're in the Arctic. The Arctic? Yes. The woman looked at Sake suddenly. Who are you? I'm Sake. The woman looked at me. You're Annika? I was taken aback. How did you know my name? The woman blinked, then suddenly looked away. I heard that guy say your name. Oh. I cleared my throat. Look, you're probably under a lot of shock. You crash-landed in a plane. Do you remember what happened? The woman hesitated. I was flying over towards Greenland. Greenland? It's a country close to here. I'm a journalist, you see. A journalist? Wow. Yeah. What's your name? Mandy Mandy Sandy. Mandy Sandy. Nice name. Mandy soon became a part of the little family we'd built here. Except Sake and I did most of the work. Mandy just sat around like some kind of princess. Mandy, can you help me light the fire? No, I'm so tired from helping out with the fishing. You didn't even do anything. You just sat there and complained. It was very tiring. Why, I oughta... Sake held me back. Don't. Just ignore her. But she's so annoying. I know, but if we want to survive out here, we have to work together. Fine. Sake could be so righteous sometimes. It was so annoyingly adorable. The next day, I had to say goodbye to Sake. He was taking a trip to the eastern end of the valley to look for more food since we were experiencing shortages after Mandy joined us. He would be gone for 2 days. I was dreading it. Just be safe, okay? Sake pulled his bag over his shoulder, smiling his beautiful smile. Of course. Try not to murder Mandy, okay? I'll try. I hesitated, then I hugged him tightly. Before we pulled away, I gave him a quick kiss on the cheek. He smiled and brushed my forehead with a finger. See you soon. I waved goodbye. Where's he going? Mandy must have just woken up. I groaned inwardly. Great. Now I was stuck with Her Majesty Mandy. He'll be back soon. How soon? What did she care? 2 days. I looked at Mandy strangely, then grabbed my own bag. I'm heading to your crash site. I'll be back in a few hours. Why are you going there? Was it just me or did she sound a little panicked? Just looking for supplies. Jeez. What's with all the questions? I said goodbye and took off. For some reason, I felt like Mandy was hiding something from me. Half an hour later, I arrived at the crash site. Plane debris still scattered on the ground. It was so creepy. I started rummaging through anything that looked salvageable when I came upon what looked like a purse. This must be Mandy's. I opened it up and sure enough, it had something that must have been money, credit cards, and an ID. I glanced at the ID, but what I saw made my blood run cold. Instead of the name Mandy Sandy like she told us, the ID said her real name was Mandy Sabine. Sabine! That was my last name! Why did Mandy have the same last name as me? Was that a coincidence? No, it couldn't be. The fact that she lied proved that she was hiding it from me. But why? What? Then it hit me like a ton of bricks. Mandy. I knew I recognized her from somewhere. Mandy was my mom. You shouldn't have come here, Annika. I spun around. Mandy. My mom? She stood there grimly. You're... Go on. Say it. You're my mom. Mandy smiled, but it lacked all warmth. Yep. But I don't understand. Why are you here? Why did you abandon me? Mandy sighed. She turned to me. Because I hated you. I winced. I hated you and I didn't want you. You ruined my life. I could have been a model at Victoria's Secret fashion show. But no, you just had to come along and ruin my body. I worked as a journalist instead. A stupid, boring job. But one day, my work took me over to the Arctic. That's when I saw my chance. I dumped you here like the worthless thing that you are, and I left you. And I don't regret my decision one bit. You're a monster. It's nothing personal, just business. But why are you back here then? If you hate me so much, why did you come back? Mandy rubbed her face. That's the only annoying part of my plan. You survived. You weren't supposed to do that, you know. Now you're all over the news. Some satellite or something spotted you here all on your own. I knew I had to come back and dispose of you before anyone found out what I did. Dispose of me? Oh my god, my mother really was a monster. How could I be related to her? Yep. Sorry, honey. Mandy lifted a spear from behind her back. The world will never know. Suddenly, anger coursed through my veins. How could life be so unfair? No, I won't let you win! I stamped my foot on the ground, but as I did, a crack appeared beneath me. Mandy froze too. She looked at the crack, which was quickly spreading and widening by the second. She backed away. I looked around and realized suddenly that we were on a frozen lake. How could I have missed that? Mandy backed away and stumbled, sending more cracks into the fragile ground. Mandy, wait! I screamed as suddenly the floor seemed to disappear and I plummeted into the icy water below. I screamed as the cold bit into my skin like razor-sharp blades. I managed to push up and grab onto the ledge of the ice, but I couldn't pull myself out of the water. Mandy! Help! Mandy just stood there and watched me as I flailed about, fighting for breath. Mandy! I'm your daughter! Mandy looked away. I'm sorry, Annika, but I can't let you ruin my life. My mother turned around, abandoning me yet again. I lost my grip on the ice and fell back into the water, fully submerged. Black filled my vision. I was drowning. As I drifted closer to death, my mind went to Sake. His smile, his kind heart. I would miss him. Then, a hand grabbed hold of my collar and yanked me out of the freezing water. I gasped for air as Sake rescued me, pulling me back onto the surface. Annika! Sake took off his coat and bundled me up in the warm fur. My teeth chattered as I looked at him gratefully. Thank you, Sake. But my relief was short-lived. Suddenly, Mandy appeared, brandishing her spear, and she charged right at us. Ah! Mandy bulldozed towards us, but she slipped on the ice, and instead of killing me, she dropped the spear and fell headfirst through the hole in the ice. Mandy! We scrambled to rescue her, but by the time we got there, she was already gone. Sake grabbed a hold of me and held me tight. I closed my eyes. So long as Sake was here, I was all right.
Hey there, I'm Alexis and I'm from Pennsylvania. Now, if you think that's a made-up country, you're totally wrong because I'm the queen of it. Growing up, life was pretty strange. One time, when I was 2 years old, I was at a grocery store with my parents when suddenly 5 men dressed like ninjas burst in and tried to grab me. Ah!
Get away from my daughter!
One of the ninjas grabbed me and started to run away with me in his arms. Mama, Papa?
No, Alexis!
I bit on the guy's hand and he dropped me.
Why, you little...
His next few words were snatched from his mouth as 2 bodyguards jumped in and knocked him out. More bodyguards arrived and dealt with the other ninjas. And before long, I was escorted away from the grocery store with the eyes of everyone on us. Someone in the crowd scoffed angrily.
I wonder who those people are.
His wife then said,
They must be movie stars or something.
When we got home, I asked my parents what had happened, and they told me not to worry too much about it. I was too young to really understand what was happening. That is, until I turned 15. My parents took me to the circus for my birthday, and it was in the middle of a trapeze act when something really weird happened. The trapeze artist did 3 flips in the air. Gasps erupted in the crowd as we watched the man move with awe. But then suddenly, mid-air, I saw him make eye contact with me. His eyes lit up as if he recognized me.
Queen Alexis!
With no warning, the man swung off the rope, soaring into the air before landing right in front of me. All the eyes in the crowd were on me. The man fell to his knees, His hand enclosed over his heart and said, "I will forever be at your service, Queen Alexis." Whispers spread through the crowd as everyone wondered why this 40-year-old man was bowing down to a 15-year-old girl. My dad stood up quickly.
Let's go, honey. I can't have you around these people.
Then we left the circus as soon as we could. That day, we moved from that town and started up somewhere new. When we arrived at our new house, my parents sat me down and told me the truth.
There's something you should know.
The more and more they talked, the more and more my mouth opened in shock.
You, Alexis, are queen of Cantavinia.
Can't you what now?
Cantavinia, it's a very small country in Europe.
But how? What?
I'm sorry we had to keep this a secret for so long, but we did it for your own safety. Cantavinia is under siege now. It wasn't safe for us to live there anymore.
Your grandma was queen of Cantavinia, but when you were born, she passed away and she left the crown to you. For now, it's too dangerous for you to return to Cantavinia, so that's why we've decided to hide you away here. But that doesn't mean there aren't bad guys still after you.
But I don't want to be queen.
Honey, you have to. Your country depends on you.
No, I won't let you decide what I have to do. I won't be queen.
But
I want to live a normal life without bodyguards or royalty. Please, Mom, Dad?
oh, I don't know.
At least stop with the bodyguards. No one will know I'm here. I'll keep a low profile. I just don't want to be followed by bodyguards for the rest of my life. I want privacy.
Oh, all right, dear. Fine, no bodyguards. But just stay safe, okay?
Of course. Thank you.
We love you.
I love you too. The next day, I started my first day at the new school. When I walked into the classroom, no one so much as looked at me. I felt so lonely. As I walked towards the back of the class, someone stuck their foot out and I fell face first onto the floor. Everyone started laughing. I turned to find this super attractive girl laughing at me evilly.
What are you looking at?
I wanted to fight back, but I shouldn't bring any attention to myself. I bit my lip and hobbled over to my seat at the back. I realized this year was gonna be miserable. Well, so I thought. Psst. I ignored the sound, thinking it wasn't directed at me. Hey, psst. I finally looked up. It was a boy sitting in the chair beside me.
Do you have a pen?
Oh, yeah. I rummaged in my bag and gave him one. He chuckled.
You like Barbie?
I was confused for a second. Then I realized I'd given him one of my old Barbie pens from ages ago. Oh God, how embarrassing.
Nah, it's cool, I dig it.
Thanks.
What's your name?
Alice. Even though my real name is Alexis, my parents and I agreed it would be best to use a fake name to hide my identity.
Thanks, Alice, I'm Luke.
It's nice to meet you, Luke.
Hey, you're new here, right?
Yeah.
A bunch of us are going to the bowling alley tonight to hang. Wanna come?
Sure. I stand corrected. Maybe this year wasn't gonna be as miserable as I thought. Later at the bowling alley, Luke helped me pick out an aisle and I threw the bowling ball down the lane. I haven't been bowling in so long, so unsurprisingly, the ball went straight into the gutter. Luke smiled sympathetically.
Aw, better luck next time.
I smiled. But suddenly, we heard this high shriek of laughter that sounded more like cats screeching.
Oh my God, that was pathetic.
I looked up. It was the girl who had tripped me before at school. She had blonde hair pulled back so tight, I was surprised it didn't fall out.
Seriously, who are you and why are you even here?
Oi, Trixie, leave Alice alone.
Ooh, Luke and Alice sitting in a tree. Kiss.
I lost it. Shut up, would ya? Trixie smiled evilly.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Your Highness.
My heart literally froze. What did you say?
Huh? What is up with you?
Why did you say Your Highness?
It's a saying, you idiots. Wow, you suck at bowling and you're an idiot. You have horrible tasting girlfriends, Luke.
Come on, Alice, let's get out of here.
Luke escorted me away. I was relieved. It seemed what Trixie said had just been a coincidence. No one was onto me. I could relax. Luke didn't seem to notice how weird I'd acted, and he actually asked me to hang out with him the next day too. We met at the park, and the first 3 hours were amazing. We laid on the grass, gazing at the clouds, had hot dogs, and skipped stones at the lake. It was perfect. Well, almost perfect. Until something crazy happened when we went to watch a game of soccer that a bunch of people were having on the field. Luke and I sat together, and I could feel his arm next to mine. Slowly, our hands started to reach towards each other when I heard a huge bam, and someone screamed, "Look out!" Too late, I glanced up to see a football shooting towards me. It was too late to move. I was gonna get hit when Luke suddenly punched the ball out of the way, saving my face with just seconds to spare. Luke, that was insane. Seriously, those reflexes were crazy.
Oh, the look on your face.
Trixie, what is your problem?
Oh, you two lovebirds make me sick. Why don't you gaze into each other's eyes somewhere else?
Trixie, seriously,
Luke, it's fine.
But Alice,
Luke, I tilted his head towards me and pressed my lips onto his. Everyone watching us gasped, and I heard Trixie squeal with rage.
I can't believe these two.
And walk off. I didn't care though. All I cared about was Luke, the perfect guy right in front of me. We kissed for a while, then said goodbye and promised to hang out again. We started dating officially, and weeks went by. On our 1-month anniversary, Luke took me to a candlelit dinner by the lake, and I decided it was time I told him my secret. Luke, I love you, and I have something to tell you.
what is it?
I'm a queen. Luke nearly choked on his orange juice.
What?
I explained everything to him. It was hard for him to process, but eventually he accepted the fact that I was the queen of an entire country in hiding. I was actually surprised that he believed me so readily. But I guess that's what made him an even more perfect boyfriend. The next evening, I invited Luke over to have dinner with my parents. When we arrived, I could tell my mom was really impressed.
What a charming, handsome young man.
My dad also really liked him and kept clapping him on the back, which was a sign that he approved of Luke.
Oh, we're definitely going to have to keep this one around.
I was so happy. But then something weird happened.
Oh, Andrew,
Luke said.
I couldn't agree more. And you too, Julie, you're absolutely right.
I froze. How did Luke know my parents' names? As far as I could tell, they'd never told him their names. I definitely hadn't told him their names, so how did Luke know? I decided to brush the thought away and didn't think much more of it. The next day, I was in Luke's room. We were watching a movie, and then Luke went up to the bathroom. I paused the movie to wait for him, but I must have accidentally clicked something else because suddenly a file showed up on his laptop. I started reading and realized it was a file on me. It listed everything from what I had done that day to what I had eaten for breakfast. It was so creepy. Why did Luke have this? Was he following me? Oh God, was Luke a stalker? Luke returned and froze.
What are you doing?
What am I doing? What are you doing? Why do you have all these files on me? Luke, you have to explain what's going on.
I can't, Alice. There's a reason for this, I promise, but I can't tell you what it is. You gotta just trust me on this.
Are you kidding me? No. You either tell me or we're through.
Alice.
Luke stood there motionless. I couldn't believe it. Goodbye, Luke. Alice, wait. I bolted from his room and ran all the way home. I didn't speak to Luke for the next couple of days. My parents knew nothing about our breakup, so they couldn't understand why I was so sad. I could hear them downstairs.
What's gotten into our daughter?
I'm not sure, but Do you think this can be too dangerous to have her here? Should I ship her out to a different country?
Days led on to weeks, and I couldn't take it anymore. I had to see Luke. Maybe we could work this out, have a talk and get through it. I walked over to his house after school and looked into his window. But what I saw shattered my heart into a million tiny pieces. Luke and Trixie were together in his room, and Trixie was hugging him.
Oh, Trixie, thanks for coming over. I really needed someone to be here with me.
Don't worry, Luke, I would never pass on a moment like this. So now Luke was a creep and he was cheating on me. And with Trixie? Seriously? I was frozen. I couldn't move my feet. It felt like they were glued to the ground. Luke and Trixie broke apart. Then Luke spotted me through the window. Alice, wait! Hot tears trickled down my face. I spun around and started running. I didn't know where I was going. Suddenly, dark, brooding clouds rolled across the sky and down the rain came heavily. I rushed to a bridge and hid underneath to escape the rain. It was cold and wet and I was shivering uncontrollably. Could life get any worse? Turns out it could. Suddenly, out of the shadows, appearing like ghosts, at least 10 people dressed in black appeared. I suddenly recognized their outfits from the time when I was 2, when ninjas had appeared at the grocery store. Oh no, they'd found me! I was ready to accept defeat when out of nowhere Trixie appeared. Trixie? Don't worry, Your Highness, I'll protect you. Then, like some kind of karate kid, Trixie started to fight off the ninjas. She hit them one by one, pulling roundhouse kicks mid-air, karate chopping them until they were all unconscious. I was flabbergasted. Trixie had just beaten 10 ninjas all by herself. What was going on? Suddenly, Luke arrived.
Alexis! Oh, thank God, you're okay!
He hugged me tight, but I shoved him away. He had called me Alexis. How did he know my real name? You, explain. Luke looked sad.
Okay, the truth. The truth is, your parents hired me as your bodyguard.
I couldn't believe this. So, us? Our love, it's all a lie?
No, that's the thing. Well, at first, I was hired to date you and protect you at the same time.
I can't believe.
But then, once I got to know you, I realized how kind and funny and smart you are. I fell in love with you. For real.
Luke, I don't know. Oh, please, Queen Alexis. Trixie approached us, her hands bloody. Luke is head over heels for you. But in your room, you two...
Us?
Luke chuckled.
Trust me, Trixie and I are not a thing.
Hey, not so fast, Luke. I have feelings for you too, but I'm willing to step down. Anything for our queen.
Trixie!
So, you're my bodyguard too?
Yep.
I can't believe this. My parents are such liars.
So, Alexis, Alice, whoever, I don't care. Will you forgive me?
Oh, Luke, I can never say no to you. I kissed him, and it felt like I was the queen of the world.
When I was born, it was on a pirate ship. When I took my first steps, it was on a pirate ship. When I said my first words, you guessed it, I was on a pirate ship. My parents were the greatest pirates who ever sailed the seas. Other pirates cowered whenever they saw the flag of my family, the Shellwalkers, wave up in the air. Growing up, I loved the pirate life, the adrenaline, the fresh ocean breeze. My parents always make sure to take good care of me too. Life was good until it all came crashing down with the force of a tsunami. One night, I was in my room when I heard a loud crash. I ran outside to find colossal waves and a giant storm above us. Mom! Dad! Tina! Quick! Get to the lifeboat! No! I'm not leaving you two! Henry! Take her! We'll be with you soon, honey! Henry, my parents' right-hand man, lifted me up and ran with me to the lifeboat at the side of the ship. We hopped in, but suddenly the rope holding it up snapped, and the boat fell into the water with us in it. Mom! Dad! them, but it was too late. A giant wave appeared and capsized the ship, smashing it into pieces. There was no way anyone could survive that. Henry and I tried to stay afloat, but our lifeboat got overturned too, and suddenly I blacked out. What seemed like eons later, I woke up on a desolate island. There was no one there. No one had survived the storm. I was utterly alone. Days, and then weeks passed before I saw any sign of life. I managed to survive off crabs and coconuts. Then finally one day, a ship arrived on the island. A whole crew of men walked off the ship.
Huh! Look at what we have here. Hello, little girl. You got any treasure on you?
Then suddenly one of them gasped.
Wait, that's the Shellwalkers, kid. The Shellwalkers?
Please help! My parents, our ship. I'm the only one who survived the storm. The crew of pirates hesitated. Then their captain stepped forward.
Your parents helped us when we were in need of them most. It's only fair we do the same for you.
The captain took me in and raised me until I was 16 years old, and he passed away from an illness. After him, I became the captain of his crew, and we became known as the New Shellwalkers. After many years of hard work and struggle, I managed to train my crew into becoming the best pirate crew out there. I wanted to make my parents proud.
Captain Shellwalker, there's a ship heading our way. What? Starboard side!
All right, crew, you know the drill.
Ready the cannons!
My crew got into place within a few seconds. I nodded approvingly. The ship approached closer and closer. I grabbed a giant conch shell and shouted into it.
Ahoy there! Who are you? Speak your business!
There was no reply. Then suddenly, a white flag raised.
Help! We're sinking!
It didn't look like their ship was sinking, but I immediately called my crew to stand down. We always helped those in need.
Ready the planks! We need to help these people! But Captain Skywalker, this could be a trap! You've heard me! Get to it!
With reluctance, my crew began to ready the planks and lifebuoys. The other ship soon arrived beside us. When they arrived, I saw someone who appeared to be their captain. He leaped across the giant gap between the boats as if it was nothing, then landed with a thud on my ship. He hadn't even asked if he could board yet, but when he looked up at me, I gasped. He was so handsome. I don't think I'd ever seen anyone as handsome as him before. Good day, miss. Where's your captain? I was a little stunned at first, but I gathered myself quickly. I am the captain of this crew, Captain Shellwalker. He looked surprised. Good day, Captain Shellwalker. I'm Captain Redhawk, and I'm taking over this ship. Excuse me? Suddenly, there was a giant roar, and the other crew leaped onto our ship. You liar! Captain Redhawk grinned. Sorry, miss. Nothing personal. I growled as I unsheathed my sword. We began an epic duel, the Shellwalkers against the Redhawks. But the Redhawks had a much bigger crew than ours, and before long, I was the only one left standing. The rest of my crew had been tied up in rope. Redhawk smiled charmingly as he approached me with his sword. Listen, miss. You can call me Captain Shellwalker. Captain Shellwalker, just surrender. You're outnumbered. Never.
Let's kill her, Captain! Yeah, kill her!
Redhawk looked a little concerned, but then the look vanished. No, men, you know that's not how we roll. His crew grumbled in annoyance. Redhawk turned to me. Surrender.
No!
Redhawk rolled his eyes, then he lunged at me. I expected him to stab me, but instead he brought the butt of his sword around and knocked me out. I saw stars before I collapsed to the ground. When I woke up the next day, I was in a tiny cell. I was still on a ship since I could feel the sway of the ocean below me. Suddenly, the door opened and Redhawk walked in. What have you done with my crew? Redhawk walked in calmly. Relax, miss. They're fine. I told you. You can call me Captain Shellwalker. Now where is my crew? They're in a separate dungeon downstairs. I gave you this private cell to show you some mercy. I'm being kind. Kind? Kind! You tricked us! That's pirating for you, Missy. What are you going to do with us? Well, I know the name Shellwalker, you see. I've heard about you before. And so have a lot of people. The king actually has a bounty on you and your crew. So, I'll sell you to the king.
It's a very nice reward. Oh, and I'm taking your ship and the rest of your treasure too. You worthless brat! Red Hawk winked at me. I couldn't help it. I blushed. Well, I'll see you tomorrow then, miss. Sleep well. He shut the door, and the room went dark. I sat there, helpless. I had failed my parents, my crew. What could I do now? The next morning, one of Red Hawk's men walked in and woke me up. Get ready. The captain wants to see you. I yawned and stood up. The man grabbed some rope and tied me up before shoving me ahead. What could Red Hawk want with me? Did he want to brag in my face about the horrors I would soon face? Here she is, Captain. Thank you, John. The man left, leaving me alone with Red Hawk in his private office, it seemed. What do you want? Red Hawk waved a hand at the table. I thought you could eat one last nice meal before I send you off to the king. What was this? Did he feel sorry for me? Suddenly, I realized I could play this to my advantage. Now, I had a plan. Oh, thank you. I sat down at the opposite end of the table. Red Hawk smiled at me. Dig in. I showed him my tied hands. I can't really eat. Red Hawk raised his eyebrows. You really think I'm that stupid? I know you'll jump me the moment I untie you. I shrugged my shoulders. I just wanted to eat. You can make do. I sighed and began to eat the bread. It was delicious. Was Red Hawk really just being kind? I looked up. Listen, Red Hawk, what's your deal? My deal? How did you end up captain of a pirate ship? You're handsome. You seem young. Why are you here? I could say the same thing about you. You're beautiful. You're young. Why are you a captain? I hesitated. I was supposed to seduce him, not the other way around. I took a deep breath. I asked you first. My parents. Red Hawk stood up, then walked over to the window and looked out. Slowly, I stood up and approached him. They passed away when I was very young. I stood closer to him. I could see the golden ends of his hair. Me too. Really? Yeah. I got stranded on an island before this crew picked me up. Wow, what pretty similar, you know. I nodded. I stepped even closer. I wasn't kidding, you know. What? When I said you were handsome? Really? You're the most handsome guy I've ever seen. Red Hawk looked at me, his eyes round and full of emotion. And that's when I struck. I smacked him on the temple and his knees crumbled beneath him. I checked to make sure he was truly passed out, and luckily he was. Then I grabbed a knife from the table and cut through my hand ties. Before long, I was free. Time to get my crew back. I rummaged through Red Hawk's pockets and found the key to the dungeons. I ran down into the dungeons below deck. Captain Shellwalker! Shh! Don't let them hear you! I unlocked my crew cells and we readied ourselves for battle. Let's get our ship back! My crew roared in excitement. We charged above deck and faced the Red Hawk's unknowing crew. I'm the new captain of this ship! Surrender or face the consequences! The other crew panicked as they faced my group of warriors. Suddenly, one of them grabbed a stick of dynamite. Wait, no! Too late. The idiot threw the dynamite and a giant hole exploded in the ship, narrowly missing my feet. Suddenly, water poured in from below, and the ship groaned as it began to sink. Quick! To the other ship! Behind this ship, my own ship had been towed by rope and was unaffected by the dynamite. Everyone scrambled for the other ship. All thoughts of attacking each other went out the window. Pretty soon, all of us were on my ship. No more fighting! We must work together now. It seemed Red Hawk's crew would comply. But suddenly, I noticed someone was missing. Your captain! He's still on the sinking ship! He's in his private office! None of his crew moved a muscle. You're gonna abandon him? All they did was look at me. I groaned. Don't save him, Captain. He's not worth it. Yeah, he tricked us. He was gonna turn us into the king. I knew they were right, but there was something about him. I couldn't let him die. I leaped across the ships and into the sinking one. Water gathered at my feet, and when I opened the door to Red Hawk's private office, water flooded everywhere. Red Hawk! Where are you? I waded through until I found him floating by. I scrambled over and checked his breathing. Thankfully, he was still alive. I gave him a quick slap on the cheek and he woke up with a jolt. What? Where am I? The ship's sinking. Hurry! I can't carry you! Red Hawk nodded, and together we waded out of the office and back to the deck. We clambered onto my own ship
and collapsed on top of each other. I quickly removed myself from him and stood up. Red Hawk slowly looked at me. "You saved my life. Why?" My face reddened. I wish I wasn't so nervous around him, but I couldn't help it. I think I had a crush on him. I did what any good pirate would do. Red Hawk stepped closer. "I'm so sorry I tricked you." "It's okay. I understand." Red Hawk grinned his charming grin and leaned in. Suddenly, we kissed. I didn't know what to do, what to think, but I didn't push him away. Then, someone yanked Red Hawk away from me.
What are you doing, Captain? What are you on about? She's the enemy! No, she's not! One of my men pulled me away too! Captain Shellwalker, don't! You can't tell me what to do, boy! He just tricked us! He's a pirate! It's what pirates do!
Red Hawk pushed his guy away and rushed towards me, holding my hands. "We should join crews. We should!"
What? No! No! We should kill them! Don't join forces!
The crews shouted and hollered at us. Red Hawk and I looked at each other with concern. Suddenly, one of the members from Red Hawk's side shouted,
These captains are intolerable! I say we throw them overboard!
"John, how could you?"
You know what? The man's right! We should throw them both over!
"Lucas, you raised me! How could you betray me?"
It's what pirates do, isn't it?
He said mockingly. Red Hawk and I made eye contact. Things weren't going well. The betraying crew members slowly approached us, cornering us against the edge of the ship. We had nowhere to run to, nowhere to go. This was it. Then, suddenly out of the blue, another ship banged into the side of my ship. Red Hawk and I were thrown to the floor. So were the other crew members. I looked up with a gasp when I spotted who was on board the other ship.
Tina! Climb on board! Henry! Hurry!
I didn't even think. I grabbed Red Hawk's hand and we jumped into Henry's ship. His crew heaved at the sails, and within a few seconds we were speeding away from our old cruise. They screamed and shouted curses at us, but we were too fast and soon left them behind as a tiny dot on the horizon.
Henry! You're alive!
I am. A rescue boat found me after the storm. Your parents didn't make it though, but thank the heavens you survived. I've heard of you.
The legendary Captain Shellwalker.
I've been looking for you for years. Your parents would be so proud of the woman you've become. I grinned as Red Hawk and I held hands. Henry raised his eyebrows. Now, who's this? I smiled. It's a long story.